Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this third edition of Tobs Talk. I'm Jake Donnelly. Tobs Talk is presented by Thomas & Ferris, and you're watching it right here on Greenlight Channel 2. Well, we finally have some good news for you folks. The Tobs scratched away their first win of the season, now stand at 500 at 1 win and 1 loss. The loss came on Tuesday against the Peninsula Pilots, a 3-2 defeat in 10 innings. Now, the Tobs are down 2-0 in that game, but were able to battle back, scoring 2 runs very late in the ball game. It actually looked like the Tobs are going to take the victory in walk-off fashion as Ben Schmucker came to the plate with a runner on second base and hit a very hard shot at shortstop. But the Pilot shortstop, Andres Nello, actually took the hop off of his face, blocked the ball, threw on to first, and ended the inning, sending the game into extras. In the top of the 10th, the Pilots were able to score on an error. Tobs couldn't come up with the run, and they dropped their first game of the season. However, last night against the Petersburg Generals, the Tobs were able to win 5-2. It looked like more of the same early on as the Tobs were down 2-0, but like the prior night, the Tobs were able to come back, scoring 2 runs, the second of which came on a beautiful bunt by Doug Teegarden, the Tobs starting shortstop. A bunt down the third baseline with 2 outs. It seemed to catch the third baseman by surprise, and it absolutely caught the rest of the infield by surprise. That tied the game up, and then a hot shot by Taylor Nichols later on in the inning, which was booted by the General shortstop. This time some good luck for the Tobs for a change, allowed 2 more Tobs to score, making the score 4-2. The Tobs would add 1 more in the top of the 9th inning, giving themselves a 5-2 win. Tyler Watson pitched the final 2+ innings for the Tobs to pick up the victory. He came on in relief of Michael Wilson, who did a tremendous job on the mound. By the time that he handed over the ball to Tyler Watson, the Tobs are still in the game, just down 2-0. And that's all you can really ask of a starting pitcher. I know Coach Hay of the Tobs was very happy with both Michael Wilson and Tyler Watson for their performances on the mound. When we come back, we are going to have Coach Hay with us. Remember, folks, you can follow us on Twitter at Wilson Tobs. You can also find our Facebook page, which is, maybe not so ironically, Wilson Tobs. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Jacob Donnelly 31. As I promised, when we come back, we will have head coach of the Tobs, Justin Hay, and see just how happy he is with getting that first win of the season. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas & Ferris, right here on Greenlight Channel 2. I'm Jake Donnelly. With me now is head coach for the Wilson Tobs, Justin Hay. Justin, thank you as always for coming in. Now, last night, the Tobs got their first win, a 5-2 victory over the Petersburg Generals. And the Tobs, for the second night in a row, were down 2-0, but scored the last 5 runs of the game. How good does it feel to get that first win out of the way?
Oh, it feels great. I told the guys after the opener that they played really well, just to keep playing that way, and they would start to fall. And they answered and turned around, did the same thing the next night. Played good defense, pitched it well, and found a way to score some runs. So it was, it's hard to get the second one until you get the first one.
That is very true. And the starting pitcher for last night, Michael Wilson, I know you weren't expecting for him to go 9, but you must be expecting some amount of innings. Did he exceed that pitch limit, or I should say inning expectation?
Well, when I talked to him before the game, I told him, look, role of the starters to get 6 and give your team a chance to win. And that's what he did. I mean, when I took him out of the game, he handed me the ball. We still had a chance. We were down by 2. He had thrown extremely well. So you can't ask him anything more. And that really helped for him to go kind of deep into the game. So we didn't have to use much of our bullpen.
And early on in this season, the roster is in a complete state of flux. So you don't really have a lot of pitchers, and guys are really just trying to knock off the rust. But you only used 2 pitchers last night. How much does that help the team out? How much does that help the bullpen and the rotation out?
Oh, it helps a lot. I don't think we have an off day until next Tuesday. And we're still trying to learn everybody. Still trying to figure out what everybody's role is going to be. But going into the rest of this week's game with pretty much a full bullpen is really a relaxing thing for a manager.
And starting shortstop for the Tobs, Doug Teegarden, will come on later in Tobs Talk. But he had a very good game, a hit-and-run single early on, and then a beautiful bunt with a runner on third base and 2 outs. Usually you don't see a bunt in that situation. Was that something that came from the coaching staff, or did he do that himself?
Coach Billings at third base noticed the third baseman was playing back and basically signaled to Doug to tell him, hey, it's there if you want it. Think about it. Doug looked at it and decided that it was a good time to do it. He's a really good bunter, and got it down and scored us that run.
Yeah, and we saw against the Fuquay-Varina Twins on Sunday, he tried a couple of times to lay down that bunt down the third baseline. This time it stayed fair. Had to make you happy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime we get a bunt down, anytime we score a run, it brings some happiness about the dugout.
Yeah, and made it 2-2, and the Tobs would actually score 3 more runs that inning, taking a 4-2 lead before tacking on 1 more in the top of the 9th for the eventual 5-2 lead. Now moving on to tonight's opponent, the Morehead City Marlins. The starter for tonight is Quinn Atwood. Now, I haven't seen Quinn pitch at all, but you, of course, as the head coach and in charge of the pitchers, have. And what can we expect from Quinn?
Quinn's got a mid to upper 80s fastball with a good curveball and a split finger. Comes from a state that produces a lot of good pitchers. Comes from a school that has a really good pitching staff. So I would expect Quinn to come out and hopefully continue the first 2 games tradition of our starting pitchers doing well.
And when we got right back on the bus, I mentioned how the Tobs spent less than 24 hours under the 500 mark. Now, right at 500. Looking forward to get on top of that 500 mark for tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're hoping to spend 24 hours at 500, above 500, and then hopefully not ever see it again.
And the rest of the season just smooth sailing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just exactly like you planned it out.
Yes.
All right. Well, Justin, thank you for coming in as always. When we come back, we will have representative with Coastal Beverage, Rachel Whitten, for our Thirsty Thursday promotion at Fleming Stadium here tonight. A 7:05 start against the Morehead City Marlins. Gates open at 6 o'clock. Get there early and have a lot of fun, folks. And welcome back, everybody, to Tobs Talk. I'm Jake Donnelly. Alongside me now is representative for Coastal Beverage, Rachel Whitten. Rachel, we were talking just a little bit ago, and I guess the first question I have to ask you is, what is your favorite part about going to Tobs games?
Oh, there's so many things. I really enjoy how it's just a community. It's a community that you don't realize exists a lot of time, and then once you come, it's in a great place that you can go and spend time in a town that you wouldn't otherwise have something that's fun to do.
And you also mentioned off air, saying community right here. There's somebody in your family, and you know the next time you're going to be going to a Tobs game, specifically, a specific day of the calendar, if you will.
I do. I'm actually bringing my father for his Father's Day present. I'm going to actually bring him out to a game. Pretty excited about it. Get to show him the stadium and all the improvements they've made with everything. The Foothills 39 Club is going to be a good spot for him, the baseball stadium, and as well as the museum, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of new renovations at Fleming Stadium this year. They are all terrific. If you haven't been, well, why haven't you? Just come to the game. It's an easy fix, I think, for you folks at home. And now going on to Coastal Beverage, I guess we have to do a little bit of work here. But tonight's promotion, Thirsty Thursday, talk a little bit about that, and why should people come out to tonight's game?
Well, you have lots of selections, great selections for you. Again, we were talking about the Foothills 39 Club. You're going to have 4 taps in there all year long that are all Foothills, which is brewed right in Winston-Salem. Right now you have the Hopium, which is their IPA, People's Porter, which is a porter, Carolina Blonde is a blonde ale, and then the Strawberry, which is a great beer for the summertime. And then tonight's feature is actually Blue Moon. So you can get your Blue Moon pints for only $2, and you can also get some Blue Moon swag, I think, if you get there early enough.
Some Blue Moon swag. Now, will any of that swag make its way up to the press box?
It might. It could.
Okay.
It could happen.
Mm-hmm. And you got a little bit excited talking about the beers. Are you a beer drinker yourself?
I am actually a level 1 beer server certified Cicerone.
Oh.
So that's fun. A lot of people wine sommelier. It's kind of a similar thing, but for the beer world. So it's fun to learn. I mean, craft beer is where it's at right now. So learning how to sell those and how to taste those properly and enjoy them responsibly is a fun part of our jobs.
And always enjoy them responsibly. It is Thirsty Thursday, but if you're over 21 and enjoying some of the toasty adult sodas, if you will, make sure that you bring a designated driver. It seems like your knowledge of alcohol, and probably rightfully so, is leaning towards the professional area.
A little bit professional. Yep. I enjoy tasting all kinds of different beers. We were actually talking recently. Some people were like, I hate IPAs and I just don't have a taste for it. Well, it's something that you have to build your palate around. A lot like wine. You got to learn how to taste it and enjoy it. again, responsibly. What's cool too about the 39 Club is that they have obviously the Foothills brands, but tables and TVs where you can watch the game. So if you need to step out and want to have a beverage, some good food, you can enjoy it with the game. And like you were saying, get a designated driver, get your group of friends, and this is your new local spot, to go for games. It's the new hot spot.
And there actually seems to be only one problem with the Foothills 39 Club, and that appears to be it's a little bit too nice. People didn't realize that it's open to the public.
Absolutely.
So anybody can go, right?
Everybody is a VIP. You all get to go in and enjoy it. Enjoy the tables, the waitress, the service right to you. They have some great food options as well. And yeah, anybody can go. It's up for grabs, so get there early so you can get your seats.
And some Blue Moon swag, correct?
So correct, Blue Moon swag
All right.
available.
Well, tonight's game against the Morehead City Marlins, 7:05 start, gates open at 6 o'clock. It's Thirsty Thursday, presented by Coastal Beverage. Thank you so much, Rachel, for coming in and spending the time with me.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with Tobs shortstop at the moment, Doug Teegarden. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jake Donnelly. So glad you're joining me here for this third edition of Tobs Talk on Greenlight Channel 2, presented by Thomas & Ferris. Well, the Tobs are coming off of their first win of the season, a 5-2 victory against the Petersburg Generals. A big reason for that win is the man sitting next to me, Doug Teegarden, who is the starting shortstop for the Tobs at the moment. I know your natural position is third base, which you played at Eastern Kentucky University. And Doug is also fighting a little bit of a cold, so please just stick with him, folks. We're going to get through this. Now, Doug, Tobs got the win, 5-2 victory. But you also picked up your first hit of the season early on, a hit and run. Do hit and runs make you concentrate a little bit easier? It was right through the vacated hole at short, just a beautiful piece of hitting.
Yeah, hit and runs are just to get the middle infielders moving because the guy's stealing. Coach Billings told us hit and run anywhere on the ground but out of the middle because the middle's double play ball. So I got a fastball and I made myself stay on top of it. And you really got to focus, stay on top of it because you can't pop it up or else it's a double play. So staying on top of it is a really big key in hit and run, and then had the shortstop moving and just poked it through the hole in first and third situation after that.
Now, obviously, it's not really your first hit of the spring or summer because you had a bunch of hits with Eastern Kentucky, but it's your first hit of the season with the wooden bat. When you made it to first base, did a little load come off of your shoulders?
Yeah, that first hit's always probably the toughest hit because you're always thinking, man, when am I going to get that hit? When am I going to get that hit? And just getting it off my shoulders now, I can just kind of relax and play my game.
And then on the defensive side, you also showed off some very nice defensive plays later on in the game, including a 6-3 double play ball. Michael Wilson, the starting pitcher for the Tobs, was pretty much on top of his game. How much easier is it when a pitcher is on his game as a player in the field?
It just makes us relax a little bit. Michael, we call him Mike on the team, but Mike was on his game. He was locating everything very well, locating down, which we knew we were going to get a lot of ground balls after that, after he was locating down. So we can just kind of relax and go play our game. We know that he's going to do his job, and we just got to do our job.
Now, the big play of the game was in the top of the 8th inning. You came up with 2 outs and a runner on third base. Not normally a bunting situation, but we have seen you lay down a couple of bunts so far this season. One against the Fuquay-Varina Twins just didn't stay fair. I thought for sure that was going to be a hit. But your first bunt hit of the season could not have come at a better time. What convinced you, looking out onto the field, that this was the right time for the bunt?
Well, me and Coach Billings kind of made eye contact there, but right before the bunt. And he just kind of threw his hands up like, hey, it's here. You can take it if you want it. I took a look around. Pitcher, kind of bigger guy. Didn't think that if I laid down a better bunt, he couldn't get to it. Third baseman's playing 2 or 3 sets back, and I know I have a little bit of speed, and I'm a pretty good bunter, so I knew that was a good situation to lay it down.
Mm-hmm. And that tied the game at 2-2, and later an error by the shortstop on the Generals allowed 2 more Tobs to score. Tobs took a 4-2 lead, added another in the 9th for the eventual 5-2 lead. Now, on to the lighter side here of this quick little interview. Doug, if you haven't been to Fleming Stadium yet, has one of the more interesting walk-up songs. I Am the Man of Constant Sorrow by the Soggy Bottom Boys, which I hope most of you know is from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou. Doug is from Eastern Kentucky. What made you choose that walk-up song?
Love the movie. I absolutely love the movie. I've seen it probably 100,000 times. But in the second line of that song, it says, born in Kentucky, where he was born and raised. And of course, I'm from Kentucky, so I thought that was fitting for me being all the way out here 10 hours away from home.
And actually, I grew up on bluegrass, so it was pretty nice to hear some bluegrass throughout Fleming Stadium. So I would like to thank you for that walk-up song.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and I'd also like to thank you for coming in today. This was Doug Teegarden, the starting shortstop for the Wilson Tobs. When we come back, we'll wrap up this third edition of Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas & Ferris, right here on Greenlight Channel 2. And welcome back, folks, to this third edition of Tobs Talk, presented by Thomas & Ferris, right here on Greenlight Channel 2. Now, the Tobs' opponent for tonight is the Morehead City Marlins. They are 0-2 on the season and coached by Sam Carroll. Tobs are looking to make it 0-3 as they throw Quinn Atwood out on the mound, as you heard Justin Hay mention just a couple of segments ago. And also tonight, make sure you come on in because it is Thirsty Thursday, presented by Coastal Beverage. We are also going to have Farm to Fresh Produce promotion, which means that local farms are going to bring some local produce, and if some of that local produce happens to make its way into the press box, I don't think I'm going to mind. And I've seen some pretty good farms right here around Wilson which have some pretty good produce, so I'm very interested to see what type of vegetables are going to make its way to historic Fleming Stadium. Game time tonight is 7:05 with the gates opening at 6 o'clock. Make sure you get there early. Rachel Whitten, the representative for Coastal Beverage, mentioned that there will be some Blue Moon swag. Not quite sure what that is. I think she said keychains and a couple of other things. So make sure you get here early for tonight's game. A 7:05 start. Gates open at 6. Quinn Atwood is on the mound for the Tobs. And that will do it all for the Tobs here and Tobs Talk. I'm Jake Donnelly. Thank you to Rachel Whitten from Coastal Beverage, as well as Doug Teegarden, the starting shortstop for the Tobs, and of course, head coach of the Tobs, Justin Hay, all for joining me here on Tobs Talk. Thank you very much, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you all tonight at historic Fleming Stadium.